Bob, begin.
Okay.
Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kapp from Meticulous Moments. And what do we do here at Meticulous Moments? We facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And that's why in 2020, I started this phenomenal podcast because that is the mission, to facilitate that upliftment out there, to speak to legends and people who have done amazing things out there through the martial arts, through the business world, through their movements. People that are shaping the future, people that are really putting good content out there. So today we welcome Carl Green from the World Bushido Foundation. We are very excited to have him here with us, and we are going to be talking about his journey with the martial arts and everything that he's been doing. So please welcome Carl to the stage. Welcome, Carl. How are you?
Hello. Hi. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Carl. And may I just say thank you so much for making me your global ambassador as well at the World Bushido Foundation. I really am honored to fulfill that position. You guys are doing amazing things out there. Shout out also to our wonderful friends that's also part of the World Bushido Foundation, Vince Mordocco, Jim Burkle, only to name a few. So tell the audience a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I'm the president of the World Bushido Federation. I met Jorge Borjas, the founder, which is a shout out to him. I first did a website for him, and I got more involved with the federation, and was able to open the LLC here in the United States for it. And so one of the things that I try and do is focus on how I can unite martial artists under the 7 virtues of Bushido, because it's the lifestyle. It's not just about the punching and the kicking. Those things are part of it, but the lifestyle is very important. And that's something that's important to me, because when I started, let me kind of give you background of my martial arts. So when I was 5-6 years old, I started training with a master named Rodney Crow at Canton Martial Arts here in Illinois. And his school eventually shut down because, you know, how things can go. But I was on and off with personal training at home, you know, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to continue to train. I always had a soft spot for martial arts. And I started watching a man on the television called Bear Grylls. So he was advertised as being a black belt, and I was, you know, thinking more. I was 17 at the time, so I was more thinking in terms of what, you know, about martial arts, and I wanted to kind of look more deeper into that. Then I started college, and I was getting exposed to philosophy and things like that. And I wanted to, you know, figure out, okay, now I have this new interest with philosophy. So I kind of dug through that. And I'm a huge comic book fan. So I got into reading Batman, you know, a huge fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. So I read a book called Batman and Philosophy, and that kind of introduced at the back part. It had a section on there about Eastern philosophy. Well, fast forward to 2016, I picked up a book called The Tao of Wu by RZA, and that continued. That introduced me to Shaolin Kung Fu, of just the reading part of it, you know, understanding. I got more interested in it because of his Shifu Yi Yan Ming, that was I read about in his book. And I found my master, Dexter Parker, at the who has the Trinity Training Center there at the Dream Center in downtown Peoria. I was volunteering, and I was wanting to, study kung fu, and I was volunteering at the Dream Center, and I was, going through uh, their summer camp, and they were they were showing the kids what they could do with the summer camp and stuff like that. And his gym was his school was in a little gym at the time, and so I went in there, and there a gentleman named Gabriel, his assistant, was doing the form that you just shown. That's called Southern Set. That's part of the Lu Shang system. And I thought, this is interesting. I shook his hand. I met Sifu Parker. I looked him in his eye, and I found a connection with them. So he had cards out on the table, by the desk, and I picked up that, and I looked at it, and it had the website in the back. And I visited a couple of times, and I called him up on the phone, and he said that there was going to be, there was he offered 2 free classes, and I said, okay, I'm going to see what this is about. And I went there, and everyone was very nice, very well versed in their art, and he's been phenomenal. And now, I just got my promotion in 3rd degree blue sash in the Lu Shang system, and I'm also advanced in and an advanced student in the Hungar system. So his school teaches both 2 systems. He teaches the Lu Shang Kun Tao system, and then the Hungar system. Now the Lu Shang system, it is related and comes from the Grandmaster Arthur Sykes lineage, and that's Grandmaster Reginald McKissick out there in Cleveland, Ohio, of the Low Tiger Kun Tao Federation. That's my grandmaster in that system. And the Hungar that Sifu Parker teaches comes from the Wing Lam lineage. So it's very fun to be able to start off with learning about Kun Tao and switching over to Hungar, because now you're getting an integral part of your training. Yeah. But that's also what has led me to, have more respect for other styles, instead of just being, well, this style's best, because there is no one best style. It's what is best for the individual.
I agree. I do agree with you completely on that. I've spoken to a lot of martial artists, and that's what makes MAM so interesting as well. We are different martial artists from the martial arts global family, coming together from all our different styles and learning from each other. And that's what I love. I mean, I've trained in Shorin Ru, Shorin Kan, and Tang Soo Do, Qigong. I've, as I travel the globe, I go to different dojos. I've been to Kung Fu Dojo in New York. And it's so interesting to see the differences between the styles, but also how we overlap. And, to learn the history and the lineage of what we do. Because you are right, it's not just going in and doing the physical training. It's about it becoming a lifestyle, following those morals and values. Really, what I tell a lot of people, and this is what I do, guys, this is my secret, is I take martial arts principles and I apply it to the rest of my life. And I mean the rest of everything: how I raise my children, how I conduct business, how I pitch up when I preach. I even brought it into the things that I do, because it really changes our character. It changes who we are. It changes the way we think. It changes that we don't react to things. we respond. Many people have asked me before, they said, but you know how to fight, you know the bunkai, you know how to do self-defense, because we have full contact, right? And there's different things that we can gather from different types of dojos, but we are full contact. So someone has asked me before, why are you always so calm and happy? Why don't you, if someone did this and this, why didn't you respond to that? And we are here to create peace. Just because we know how to hurt someone doesn't mean we're going to. I'm the first person to talk down someone that wants to fight and say, listen, let's go have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and discuss our differences. We don't. I mean, there's a difference if you're in danger and someone pushes you in a corner and you have to, for the sake of saving your life. But just because we know how to hurt people doesn't mean we're going to. So I love the fact that you also do different styles, because we learn something from every style, and there is no one style. There is no one right way to do it. Even in a certain style, let's take Sharon Ru, Sharon Khan. There's one kata, and then there's a kata that follows on that as they progress, and then we get to the black belt katas, and there's 25 others. But that kata, you can teach the same kata to different people. The point is they take that kata and they make it their own. And they still do the same move, but it's not the same as it is for another person, and it has a different meaning as well. Or you can teach someone a certain fighting style. It's not going to come out exactly that, because they make that fighting style their own. And I think that's part of our journey. So that's why I love the martial arts, because, and I want to ask your opinion about that. That isn't it like it helps us to evolve?
It does. Yes, it does, because for myself personally, it's kind of like it's the most important part of this is the journey itself and the self-discovery that you get out of it. Because I've come from a certain situation where I've as growing up, I had loving parents, I had loving grandparents, but I was bullied by people in school and other areas, and it's like it makes you want to be closed off from people. But the martial arts and the continual practice, and also the fact that you're meeting people like Sifu Parker and now even Jorge Borjas, now it's more of an open up family to be able to be yourself, and you're discovering things about yourself when you're training, and you've been able to go back and understand and reprocess something, and then it's like, okay, that's it's your confidence level goes up, but it's also the right kind of confidence, not arrogant confidence, because at the same time you balance that side too of, okay, I'm doing well, but I'm not the best of the best at everything. There could always be someone better than me. And that's the way I looked at it. I'm doing better than when I started with my martial arts, but there's certainly people that I can show it would be what I would consider better than me at that, certainly like a person like yourself, or an advanced student, even more advanced student in Sifu Parker's class, but definitely. And one of the things too, what you brought up was you making it your own. That's something that I've been taught that's in the school with the Trinity Training Center, is the art of you. That's something my master tries to have you do when you study one system, study another system. Now you make it your own, and that's something that's taught to in his school, because he wants you to discover the best parts of it, and then make it your own thing, because by the time you get into ready to become a master with him, you're right on there with being making it, doing things that best fits yourself, because there's so many techniques there's so many different ways to do things. One of the things that my master says is one technique can make 1,000, which means you can modify it to best fit you. And that came from one of his masters, Sifu Amin. So it's just one of the things that I try to promote. And another thing I try to promote very heavily is health and wellness, because I like practicing Qigong and Tai Chi movements. We had a health and wellness seminar for the Federation that just this last summer in July 27th, and for right there in Peoria, Illinois. And that's something, that personally, I've had issues with asthma and arthritis and things. And for myself, the studying of Kung Fu and also the practicing of it and the Qigong exercises for myself has helped. I feel that has helped me improve in areas with balance, breathing. It's helped with my confidence, being able to, even though I was organized on things, it helped me even more so. Like, it gives me a whole new level of understanding on how life and things are supposed to work. And it's just, it's really amazing. And that's one of the things with the World Prosciutto Federation too, is I'm trying to unite people of that same mindset, like yourself, like Vince Murdocco and the others, because I want people to celebrate the most important parts of martial arts, not just focus on one thing or the other, but be an umbrella for everybody who wants to, be able to spread their art, their style, preserve it. I'm very heavily into that. Oh, shoot.
That's right. And that's what I see in the World Bushido Foundation. And I want to give a shout out to Jorge Borjas, the founder of the World Bushido Foundation as well. I had a very, very good discussion with him a few weeks ago. We hope that you are getting well, sir, and that you are well rested. And then also shout out to Vince Murdocco for conducting such a lovely interview here on Meticulous Moments. I think it was last week though. And just to name a few, Kyle and Vince and many of our brothers, they are MAM Hall of Fame inductees. And it was such a tremendous honor to induct them into the MAM Hall of Fame, Meticulous Martial Arts Mastermind Hall of Fame. It is really an honor and a privilege to work with and to be able to connect with individuals of this caliber. Now, I see some comments coming in here. So while we wait for Carl to come back, I think his internet is just lagging a little bit. He'll be back. William McDonald, also a MAM Hall of Fame inductee, says a true discipline should adapt to the student's abilities, not necessarily the student forming to the system itself. I agree completely with that. And I have to say, William, I've seen a lot in the martial arts, especially while teaching, because a grandmaster, Eric Lee, he taught me something. He talked about how hard work and perseverance and, all these amazing qualities that the martial arts bring into our lives, how it shapes us. And I consider him my mentor. So a shout out to Grandmaster Eric Lee as well. But he talked about how the student and the martial art, they combine, how they blend. And I have to say, when he said at the MAM Hall of Fame, he said, when we teach, we learn. And that's a wonderful example of how we should personally and professionally continue to develop, right, in the art. Because as we are teaching what we know, we also learn from the students. Now, I have to say one thing. In my years of teaching, I've seen something. I've seen students that are naturals at doing martial arts. It's in them. It's in their blood. You show them something once or twice and they have it. They just know what to do. And then you see students that take a little bit longer. And that's fine, because the arts is not about competing with each other. I'm not talking about when we do tournaments or all-star tournaments or when we go to nationals or when we're in the ring. I'm talking about that personal journey. But I have to say one thing. I've seen students with natural talent, and then I've seen students that are maybe not as apt to do martial arts and to get it under their knee or to get that move into their system so quickly. But I've seen children especially that are maybe not as talented, or maybe they're not a natural at it, but they have excelled past the ones with the talent because they have worked very hard. Hard work beats talent. I've seen that many times. And that's what I always tell the ones that are so talented. They have to really work just as hard as the next person. Just because they are, a natural at it doesn't mean that they don't have to work just as hard. So I agree with you, William McDonald. I see another comment here while we wait for Kyle. Vince Morduka says to Kyle, you're an inspiration to people looking to enroll into the martial arts. That's true. You rock. I love the education of Kung Fu and how passionate you are of bringing martial artists from all over under the Bushido Federation. Absolutely. I always see Kyle out there inspiring as well. Thank you, Vince, for your comment. He's always busy promoting the World Bushido Federation, and he is really he loves what he does. He loves talking about the arts, and that is what is so important, is that we spread that good cheer, we spread that good energy. It's very important that we spread good energy wherever we go and whatever we do. What martial arts principles do we learn? What is the philosophy that we take not only into our homes, because the dojo starts to become your second home. You bring that into your home. You teach your children in those ways. You take that to your business place. You take it to your community. You take it to your church. And that is the true rendition of what a martial artist should do. We should make it a complete part of our lives. It's not a section of our lives. It's not a part of our lives. It's not separate. It all blends together. It all becomes one. And Kyle is back. Kyle, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I had some technical difficulties. I do apologize. But yes.
No problem at all.
Yeah. But yes. The martial arts is so much more faceted than just one thing. And it's just amazing. And I was hearing some of the things that you were saying, and thank you for saying those things. But yeah, what I was saying was the arts for me. There's been so many good things happen, and now I'm trying to help spread that. I'm trying to help people unify things. I want to make sure that that everybody gets a chance to be able to preserve their styles, teach their styles, get rid of like politics or whatnot in martial arts, so everything can be awesome. One of the things that my degrees in web development and my minors in marketing. So one of the things that I'm out trying to do is make my services available for martial artists that's interested, for websites, if they have like their lineages, if they're like, hey, I've got stuff in the basement, I need transfer digitally, those things I can do. I can help market their schools, because at the end of the day, if they're passionate about what they're doing, I'm going to be passionate about it as well. That's why, because like my master, I maintain his Facebook page and his website and stuff, and that's a skill that I can bring to them that they were needing. But I'm also trained in martial arts, so I'm going to understand, the respect aspect of it and things like that. If they don't want something, if they like have a form that was given to them by their grandmaster, and I might think it's cool to put on, but they're like, no, that's for higher ranking students only. I'm going to respect that. I'm not going to just be like, hey, yeah, let's put it on because I think I'm going to listen to I'm going to understand what they're wanting from that, because that's how I was taught. Always respect the chain of command, the lineage, the way things are supposed to be taught, things like that. And
that's right. I'm thinking about you talking about the chain of command, and I want to talk a little bit about respect as well, because I know a lot of people that are martial artists, and they are my martial arts global family, and they are very respectful. And they have attained and achieved and excelled and exceeded, and yet they are the most humble people on the planet. They're not self absorbed. They really want to help whoever they can. You know, they don't have problems with their ego. They are down to earth people. And I think that's the key to their success, to
Yeah.
become world champions, because they are just humble and it's refreshing. And then I
Yeah.
know other people as well that I can see that are not martial artists, because as martial artists, we understand respect and we understand the chain of command, the hierarchy, and we honor that. And there are, and I think it's our purpose in this life to talk about what we are talking about right now, because I see in the business world out there, sometimes not recent, but I have seen that people that don't understand respect for what someone else is doing or for who someone else is, they tend to jump. You know, they don't respect the hierarchy, they don't respect the chain of command. They will trample or step on toes to get where they want to be, or to get because they want to do something. How
Mm-hmm.
important is it that as martial artists, we set the example to show the world what respect is really about? Because I believe if you don't have respect, you really have nothing. You can have the accolades, you can have whatever. But if you
Yeah.
don't live, and that respect, you know, that lack of respect that I've seen before, I believe it stems from a lack of respect for self. Because you have
Mm-hmm.
to respect yourself before you can respect others. How important is respect?
Respect is very important. That because in the Trinity Training Center, for example, and also in the World Bushido Federation, respect is the very first virtue that we analyze and practice and communicate. Because without respect, see, in the martial arts school, if you're going to be learning things, particularly like as you get higher up, like in our system, for instance, you got to be able to show respect so the master, number one, can trust you with the knowledge that he's giving you, or he or she's giving you. So that's like the first line of why respect is important in martial arts. But as you develop respect, it's also good for how things work in the family of the school, and then it also translates outside of that, because now you're people are reciprocating to you. You know, respect is most people, with most people, respect is um, given as much as it is earned, what it is to you, given to you what you give to them.
Mhm.
So so with that, you know, it's a great way to build that, going to a traditional martial arts school, for instance, because now you're developing the virtues and tools that you can use in the outside world. And
Mhm.
if you take that kung fu or karate lifestyle, and now you can plug it into your business, now you're more respectful towards your
Mhm.
colleagues, your chain of command higher ups, with your bosses, your clients, things like that. And then honesty, compassion, um, all the way down the line with teamwork. It makes teamwork better if you respect, because in the class the synergy begins to grow in the classroom in a martial arts school. Well, now it can also do that in the boardroom. And once you are able to help take that, that's one reason why I wanted to. I've been I I've got a book that I've been writing on. That's got the seven virtues in it. That's one of the things that I want to be able to have out there for people to see. Okay, you don't have to be a martial artist to learn this and learn those virtues, but it's important that you use the tools that martial arts gives us to be able to develop that, because the discipline that it takes to do a form, you can go out and make uh for you could make anything you want to. If you got the skills to make an app, but you don't have the discipline, well, that app's not going to do anything. But if you go learn martial arts, now you can take that same discipline that you do forms or katas with and apply it to something great like writing or app making or whatever. And then you can apply that to that. Then you're going to be, you're most likely going to be more successful than if not. But it's the tools that you learn. That's the difference between that's, people say, well, if you go to martial arts school, you learn punching and kicking, but it's more than punching and kicking. It's more than that.
Right. Let me share something with you. In our dojo, our Kiyoshi, it's his dojo, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Mashi dojo, but it's his house. So if you step in there, you're in his house, and you respect that. And he's the same. If he steps into my church, guess what? He respects it because I'm the pastor at the church. So he treats me with honor and respect. But in the dojo, when we are busy doing nunchakus, if he drops that nunchaku, I drop mine as well as a sign of respect because he's teaching me. Yeah. And we brought that in. And if a student is there, sometimes the little young ones, they're not as quick, right? And they don't drop it as fast, and then they do a few push-ups. And why do we do that? Because we are instilling that discipline and we are teaching that respect. Because you never outshine the master. You never outdo the person that's teaching you. You will not get onto a film set and just because you're friends with the director, tell the director what needs to happen in the movie. That's his house. If you're on the set and the director is there, doesn't matter how good you know him or how well you're friends, you respect his film set because that's his home. That's where he's operating. And I think in business, it's the same thing. If I step into someone else's boardroom, I'm going to show them utmost respect and I'm going to listen before I speak and I'm going to give my input, and it will always be positive, of course, and maybe it will be constructive, but it will always be done in respect. And I think that's what the world needs a little bit more of, because the world has changed. People trample and step on people's toes because they think, oh, I know this person, I can do. No. There's boundaries. Like there's boundaries in the church, there's boundaries in the dojo. You're in his house. So we used to do that. If he would, maybe his phone would ring or someone would come in the door and he would talk and the nunchaku would fall. Everybody drops their nunchaku. If you don't drop it, you better know. You're either going to do 6 inches or you're going to do sit-ups until he says you're done. Because you're respectful. And I think that was a very good exercise for the children. What's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is that obviously, they have to be, respectful. The master also has to understand not to, go overboard with people, but at the same time, exercising, for us, it is horse stance, for instance. If that's something that my master talks about a lot, especially with his master Sifu Amin, is if you disrespect the master, you get to stand in the corner and do horse stance. And this is in horse stance, either you do it, however you do it, either the and in whatever style that you do, it takes discipline to do. We worked up to 40 minutes, almost an hour in class doing horse stance. And you really, you begin to, it feels like you're unlocking parts of yourself at the same time because you're like, oh man, I can't believe that I'm doing this. But it's the most that you'll do just standing there. And if you can have somebody, I do apologize if I'm moving. I might have to go get my plug in my battery, but that's something that is very important. If people can
learn discipline through martial arts, if something is doing horse stance, then that's going to be phenomenal, because that's taking that uh, the, their energy and focusing it.
That's right. That's right. And I want to tell people out there, first I want to say thank you to Vince for this comment. He said, Juanita, listening to you is like listening to a great storyteller. I'm at the edge of my seat waiting on your every word, and your words comfort me and transform me to a peaceful place. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, Vince. Actually, that is not the first time someone has told me that I'm a great storyteller. And I believe the last time I said, maybe that's why I was a good pastor, because I love telling the stories from the Bible and how, how we can blend it into contemporary times. So thank you, Us, my friend, my brother. A lot of people don't know this. Maybe you do. If you're in the audience and you knew this, please put it in the comments. But not just the fast, powerful movements that we do are those that shape us. And that's good for your muscle groups. It's also the slow movements that we make, and also staying in those stances for very long. Because the other day I mentioned that I'm going to train a little bit of martial arts in between as well. And what I was meaning was not just going through my katas fast and doing them in a powerful manner, but also doing them slowly and staying in those moves and staying in those positions, because that also, it works your muscle groups. Now, doing jiu-jitsu, it practices another muscle group or other muscle groups than doing your kata or doing your fighting or, doing your weapons. They all exercise different muscle groups. So it's very important that we really do all of it. You mentioned you like to do Qigong. Coach King, he taught me Qigong. I love doing Qigong because, like you said, it works a lot with overall health and breathing. And then you mentioned that you like to do Tai Chi. I know Angel, she taught me Tai Chi. And then I loved going to the New York dojo and doing the Kung Fu, because contrary to Sharon Ru, Sharon Khan, where the movements are explosive and where they're fast, Kung Fu is more flowy. And it's more like, like a dance really than a fight. So it's very important, and that's what I love about MAM, that we learn different styles and that we combine those. It's important that we learn from each other. What is your favorite style of practicing? What martial arts style is your favorite? That we learn different styles.
Yeah, most definitely. With one of the things that I like to do is lifting the sky, and I do the different sets, during the day, during the morning hours, like lifting the sky, pushing the mountain, carrying the moon, and these things are amazing, because how little effort you really have to do those. You just takes the discipline to do them.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
and it's just something simple as that, but it takes time and discipline to do it. But it can really help individuals, in my opinion, because it's something that you develop a routine in doing. Jorge, Sensei Jorge taught me, if you do something, 13 days in a row, now it becomes a habit. Well, these are things. That's why Sifu Dexter tells us, go, take what we do in class, take it home, practice it, and then come back for a reformment. Because now in class, that's where you learn it, but at home, that's where it becomes a part of you.
That's where you cement it in. That's right. You can't just go to class and that's the only practice you get. In class, you learn it. And that's why it's so important when we teach that we teach the right thing. Because it's so difficult, I've seen, for the young students, if they don't do it correctly and they go home and they practice it that way, it takes a long time to get their muscle memory to reprogram again so that they can do it the right way. So I never try to rush them. I rather want them to get it and to understand it what they are doing. What are they doing? Are they breaking a neck now? Are they breaking an arm? Are they doing, is it a sikwadach that they're doing? Is it a gedangbraai? What is it? A soto oke, uchi oke, agi oke? So that they know the terminology and they know if it's a block or a punch, or because then when they go home and they understand it, they can visualize it. And then when they come back, you can see the difference because they can imagine they are fighting this opponent, and they see it in their mind's eye. It's so very important. But martial arts, I believe, I don't know, I want to hear your opinion about it. I've always said the school should bring martial arts in as an extracurricular activity, as a subject, because they can learn how to defend themselves. And if they don't want to continue with martial arts after school, that's okay. But at least they have the discipline. They've learned the respect. They have that foundation. I think it's something that the schools really have to consider, because I've only seen good things transpire from children who have started the arts. I've only seen confidence being built. I've seen children that have been restored. I've seen children that have found themselves. They've understood themselves better, because there is an energy that is generated when we conduct martial arts. I don't know how to explain it. I said it sometime in another interview. I said, we talk in the religious space about the Holy Spirit indwelling us, giving us that power. In martial arts, to me, we talk about chi or ki. That, to me, I don't separate those things. I think it's the same thing. We generate that energy, and we have to help them tap into that.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, and I completely agree with you on. I feel that should be added to schools as well, because and also the especially even the Tai Chi and breathing, the Qigong, because now that one of the things I've helped Sifu Parker teach his kids class and things and his summer camp, and you begin to see kids hone in their skills better, their focus. They may have something with where they have to have more concentration on something. Well, this is something that allows them to do that, in my opinion, because now they're focusing. They can focus on that, and then they can translate into other things that they do. And it's for me it's very important, because I've always been somebody that likes reading and taking concentration very seriously with subjects and things. And when I see somebody trying to achieve that, of course I'm going to lend a hand and trying to teach the art to them, so they can continue, so they can get to that part, because it's but for me, the journey of self-discovery, uh, for me, I want to get to that place of teaching, because my master says to teach is to learn twice, which means that now when you're going to explain it, now you're really understanding it.
Yeah.
Now you're understanding what your master has taught you, because you have to be able to explain it. And this is this is something that I feel for myself is where I want to go with my training.
I believe it. I believe it. I've seen martial arts. I used to counsel children that had problems at school, and in those days, today they're much better with this because they understand the children better. In those days, they did not understand ADHD. They did not understand ADD. And I would sit and I would counsel them, and I would adapt I would change their diet, and I would give them counseling, and we would enroll other measures in school. I would speak to the teacher and talk about personality differences, because everybody's different. Some people have a different way that you need to communicate with them, and then I would talk to the parent about the way that the child was better at learning. Some of them just want to hear, some of them have to see and hear and say it. That's how I used to work with them, but they would also be enrolled into the martial arts. And let me tell you, martial arts help those children with ADHD. It helped the ADD. It helped autistic children as well. And I'll tell you something, and I don't know if the audience knows this, maybe the majority of them do, but martial arts trains both sides of your brain as well. Trains your left and your right side of your brain. And that kind of balanced them out. So many good things in the martial arts, so many benefits. Now, I want to ask you about a quote. You said you like philosophy, you studied philosophy. You know, Descartes said, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
And that makes me think about the scriptures that talk about as a man is in his thinks in his heart, so is he. What is your rendition of that philosophical quote?
Well, if I'm thinking and I exist, but it's me myself that exists. The person is the unique person because now you're getting into the individual, and the individual can then connect up to other individuals, and then we can all.
I think you're lagging a little bit on your internet there. We'll just give Carl a little bit of
So that
time. Oh, there you are. There you are. I lost you there for a second. Can you hear us?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, just repeat that last part about your philosophical rendition of that quote,
Yeah.
because you were breaking up.
Okay, I do apologize. So what I was saying is I think therefore I am. You're looking at your self-existence. Now I exist, but I exist as a unique individual amongst other unique individuals. Now, when you're thinking about something and you have your own flavor of a way of thinking, now you can add it to the other way people think, then problem solving actually begins to happen. So I think that if people are able to examine themselves and get to the point of where they're comfortable with themselves and discover who they are as individuals, as they're meant to be, and then connect up with other people, that is actually an upgrade for society.
That's
So
right.
that's how I feel about that.
And we have to stretch our minds as the collective. We have
Yes.
to stretch our minds as a collective, because I've spoken to people so many times about not only personality differences, different types of personalities, but worldviews. We all grew up in a different manner with different belief systems. Some of us were born into certain belief systems, and it's ingrained in us because we were programmed that way. And what's the wonderful thing when we leave school and we start to study is those belief systems are challenged, and we are forced to open our minds and say, oh, I have to now understand maybe someone else doesn't think along the same lines that I do. Let me examine why they think the way they do, and then we find a middle ground. And I think that's very, very important. And I feel like martial arts facilitates that,
Most
because
definitely.
when we are on that floor, we're all the same, you know?
Most definitely. There. The way I see it is, when you're in the dojo or the kwoon, no matter your size, the color of your skin, whoever you're standing next to, they may have been there longer than you, and you're going to be in their footsteps. In so many words, to get to their rank, and they're advancing, you're advancing, and you're also helping learn too from each other.
That's
Not
right.
just you know and it's not just say that I'm a advanced rank. Okay, I got there because of other people. Now I'm going to give back because I'm helping them, but they also help me because now I'm beginning to give back to the art and learn and teach. And that's something
That's
that
right.
that I find just phenomenal, that how the martial arts can help understand. Because also, look at the different styles, all the different styles that exist in martial arts. That's another thing you can look at with people's differences. I respect Shotokan karate just as much as I do Hungar or Quintal Silat, because that that was their system of that region, and also that fits somebody. That somebody else, somebody likes that. Now, you know, and that's one of the things I try to facilitate with the World Prosciutto Federation is that love for each other and respect amongst the arts, but also respect amongst each other as human beings.
Yeah, always respectful, always treating people with dignity. That's that is at the top of my list. We
Yeah.
have to treat everybody with dignity, and we have to be respectful and give honor where honor is due. There
Yes,
is
ma'am.
nothing wrong with honoring someone out there, and forget about self and think a community and think about our fellow man. And Jorge Borjas is on here with us, the president, the founder of the World Bushido Foundation. He says, "Thank you both. I'm here watching. You are great. So we wish you well. We hope that you are recovering. Welcome here to the stage." Let's see what Mike Curtis is saying. He says, after 61 years in the martial arts, you never stop learning. Amen to that. It is a way of life. Thanks to you both promoting the arts and bringing the arts together. You are welcome, sir. Also, thank you so much for your comment. We appreciate you watching and also being out there and making a difference in your own capacity, because we all know different people. And if we are out there, everybody busy doing upliftment, bringing upliftment and doing something positive, imagine the positive effect that we will have. Now, I want to ask you, Carl, is there a shout out that you want to make to someone out there? Any words of wisdom? Hello, Anthony. Thank you so much. He says it's a great interview. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Well, there's a few people. First, I want to give a shout out to Sifu Dexter Parker of the Trinity Training Center, because he's been like a second father to me, and I want to thank him so much for teaching me the arts of kung fu, because it's opened up. He's helped me hone in so many things, open up so many doors from that. But I also want to thank. I want to give a shout out to Brian Titus Yarborough. He's one of my best friends. I love him. He's great. He's awesome. He's teaching me a lot in business. I want to give a shout out to my mother. She she was there for ever since I was a kid all the way up until now. We went to college together. I appreciate her very much. Jesus Borjas, George's brother. He's amazing. I want to give a shout out to him. I want to give of course, a shout out to Vince Murdoko. He's been very helpful and like this mentor. We talked through on the phone and stuff, but hopefully we'll be able to meet in person. But he's been helpful. David Piazza, then another inductee. He's part of the Liu Shang system. He was under Grandmaster Tom Pepperman, and that's adjacent to my lineage, and he's really phenomenal, and just talking about his side of the art and helping understand things. And of course, one thing I want to say is, if people can understand yourselves and then understand others and then develop the understanding of love amongst us, then so many things are possible, because love is what makes everything better and everything so much more open. So I just want to reciprocate that. The Bible says, "Love thy neighbor as yourself."
That's right.
So that's something that I take very seriously. Read your Bible, and study the martial arts. That's very important.
That's right. You're talking about agape love. God has created everyone, and He loves every single person and everything that He's created. And I believe that God wants us to be, and this is something Grandmaster Eric Lee also says. He says, when the light shines on us, we have to take that light and shine it on the darkness so that others will benefit from that light. And then when the light is shown on them, guess what they do? They take that light again to other dark places. And that is how we really according to the scriptures, become the salt of the earth and the light of the world. And we have to surround ourselves with our great host of witnesses. We have to surround ourselves with people who want to see us win. Let me tell you something. If you're out there and you have a circle around you and you have people that want to see you win, you have people that want to see you excel, then you are a very, very blessed person, because the world out there has changed. People try to inhibit the growth of others. People try to be a stick in the mud. People try to put obstacles in other people's paths because they don't want to see them excel. They don't want to. Let me tell you something. There is enough sunshine from God Almighty out there for the sun to shine on everybody.
Yeah.
Be the good person out there. If you can help someone, help them. If you can roll a stone out of their path for them, do it. Even if it's something small, a word of encouragement, any type of support that you can give. And this is from MAM and I believe from the World Bushido Federation, because we are here to unite. We are here to help. Be the good person out there. And sometimes, just be. Just be yourself and be friendly. And cheer people on if they've attained. Guys, if someone has had a breakthrough, cheer for them. Be their cheerleader. Be happy for them. Because tomorrow or the week after or the month after, it'll be your turn. We should always take hands with people. It's not a competition out there. If you're not in the ring, if you're not in a tournament, if you are not competing for a medal, then it's not a competition, guys. Then it's a collaboration. Yeah. Remember that. That's wise words that I learned in many, many years of ministry, many, many years in the martial arts, many years doing counseling and psychological work with people. What would you say to that?
Yeah, completely. I agree with it. I think that it's important that we do, as Jorge said, that this is a way of life, and we got to be able to live it and be the example.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Jorge. He says, thank you, Juanita and Carl. Keep in mind, this is our way of life, and it's an honorable life. It is a life that I do want to live. It is how I do want to be. And it's an honor. It's a blessing. So thank you to all the grandmasters out there, to all the senseis, the kiyoshis, the sifus. You are making an impact out there. Thank you for what you've done in our lives. And I thank God for the martial arts. It's God's gift to the world. I thank God for the martial arts because I see changes. I see people transforming. I see leaders rising up. I see it really shaping the future. And we will continue. MAM will continue. And the World Bushido Federation will continue. And Tiger, there in the UK with Grandmaster Gary. Shout out to him as well. All these wonderful organizations that we're a part of. Shout out to Grandmaster Gary as well, Lee. Everybody that's working, that's taking hands, you guys, you are doing phenomenal things out there, and we commend you. And we say us because you are a blessing to the world out there.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then also, and then also, a shout out to the Low Tiger Quintal Federation for doing that with the Lushong system within the system, because that's spreading the teaching of, what they've been taught as well. That's something that, we are doing all together, regardless of style. So, yeah.
That's right, regardless of style. We're all, Majo Kuzan always says, he was also a MAM Hall of Fame inductee, and I'm going to talk about the new MAM Hall of Fame for this year now. But he always says, one love. And he means brotherly martial arts love across the globe. And then also shout out to Kisi Mohammed, my amazing friend and my brother. We are family. He's the uncle to my children. And he always says peace and love, because we're here to bring peace in the world. That's what we're here to do. And I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Robert Enteria, who I interviewed last night, because he said, like you said, you want to give a shout out to your mom. He said his mom did so many amazing things for him. And I started this podcast because of my mom. For those of you who don't know, this is why Meticulous Moments. This is me honoring my mom's life and everything that she did and meant for me. And he also said his mom will always be his first lady. She'll always be the special lady in his life. So I want to read a comment here from Vince. He says, you guys hit it right on the head. Be the best. Help your fellow man succeed. Encourage, unite, and help everyone. You will be happier and the world will be a better place. Thanks, guys. Absolutely agree with you 100%. Absolutely agree with you. Carl, it's been such a tremendous honor to have you here on the show. Thank you so much. And I also have a shout out before we end this session. Now, guys, remember the MAM Hall of Fame 2024 has just been conducted in Dallas, Texas, December 6, 7, and 8. We made history there, and God gets all the glory for that. It was an exceptional event. So many amazing things transpired. MAM 2025 is going to be on its way, so keep your eyes out for that. And I just want to give a shout out to my lovely fiance, Kevin Oliver. We are here in Harker Heights in Texas. Kevin, lots of love to you, my darling. He also came on board as a sponsor for the MAM Hall of Fame 2024, so I want to thank him for that. And then he works with stoppingfentanyl.com and stoppinggunviolence.com. So make sure to follow him as well and become involved, because we have to. What do? We collaborate. This is what we do here at Meticulous Moments. We collaborate, we connect, and just sending lots of love to him as well. So everybody have a fantastic, fantastic evening. Thank you, Kyle. It was an honor to have you here, and I'm sure we'll bring in more sessions in the future, and God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this wonderful session. Absolutely very excited and very humbled and honored to be in this space. I want to thank God for everything that has transpired in my life. I want to say thank you, God, to you, all the glory always. Every good thing, every beautiful thing is from you. And we should never stop to honor God in everything that we do. We should never stop to give God our shout outs as well, because he's the King of Kings. Jesus, you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and your name is the name above every other name. May we live, Lord, to be in your service and to glorify you. So everybody have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys in the next session. Monday, I have an interview with Matthew Tamavong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's going to be on the show. So, and he's also very good friends with my Grandmaster Gary Henry. Amen. So we'll see you in that session. Until then, keep shining and be blessed. Bye-bye.